Support for WUWM podcasts comes from Johnson Financial Group, helping customers build financial plans around their unique goals for over 55 years. More at johnsonfinancialgroup.com. Johnson Bank and Johnson Wealth Inc. are Johnson Financial Group companies.
You're listening to Lake Effect Spotlight from WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR station. This is one of our favorite conversations from WUWM's daily talk show, Lake Effect.
Thousands of airplane enthusiasts are in Oshkosh this week for the annual AirVenture celebration. The festival is put on by the Experimental Aircraft Association based right here in Wisconsin. It's the largest festival of its kind, with people flying in from all corners of the world to attend. That includes Jessica Cox, a pilot from Arizona who's in Oshkosh sharing her journey to becoming the world's first licensed pilot without arms. She'll also be showing off her Impossible airplane, the first plane designed to be operated by feet. Cox joins Lake Effect's Joy Powers to share more.
As someone who was born without arms, what are some of the unique ways that you've learned to navigate the world, just in general?
It's a little hard for me to explain that just because I was born this way. So my navigating the world is all I've ever known, and this has been my normal. I was born into a world engineered for arms and hands. And so from the onset, I've had to be creative. I've had to persist, persevere, be courageous, overcome stigmas, overcome the label of you can't do it, which is an ongoing label, by the way, just in case you're wondering. And it was just my life, and it's all I've ever known. So I don't know how to explain differently, because I do see my brother and sister, and I see everyone else in my life and see how they live life through their arms and hands. But it's strange, but I make this immediate connection when I see them perform these tasks and do these things with their arms and hands. I immediately look to my feet, and I don't think any different of it.
Interesting. When you first became interested in flying, is that how you viewed it? You saw someone flying a plane and you went, I think I can do this.
Yeah, so I actually was terrified of flying, quite frankly. I was mortified. It made me very tense going on commercial flights. So flying in a single-engine airplane for the first time, I was 21, and I was sitting there in this plane with pilot in command, Bill sitting in the left seat, myself sitting in the right seat, looking at this instrument panel, making no connection as to what on earth all of these instruments perform, and just recognizing that making the connection with driving a car. I think probably most people would do that as they see the yoke and they make that connection. That's this equivalent to like the steering wheel. And I had already been driving for a couple years, so I drove with my right foot on the steering wheel. And when I got the chance to feel what it was like to grab a hold of the yoke between my big toe and second toe, I kicked my shoe off, and Bill turns to me and says, how would you like to feel what it's like to fly this thing? You know, I never say no to any opportunity, even if I'm mortified and terrified. I just put my foot up there and I reached up like this and just grabbed a hold of the yoke, and I immediately made this connection with flying that I was like, I want to do this. I'm going to figure this out. And I later learned that no one has ever flown with their feet before. No one had ever been approved by the Federal Aviation Administration. This would be the first. And it was like, just like anything in my life that I've conquered, I was determined to figure it out with the support of some amazing aviation people in my life. And what was started as just a joyride flight turned into 3 years, 3 flight instructors, 3 different states, flying over the course of 3 different years, numerous setbacks, numerous hours beyond most student pilots, to finally be able to be confident to convince not only the Federal Aviation Administration, but also my instructor and people in the aviation world that I am a competent and confident pilot and fit for flying in the skies, because that puts everyone at risk. Pilots have to be able to, fulfill those responsibilities, and knowing that when you fly, it's a responsibility.
As you say, pilots are already held to an incredibly high standard, as they should be. What was it like going to the FAA and saying, I know this hasn't ever been done before, but I can do it?
Let me tell you, there was a lot of question. behind would they be convinced? I think it wasn't just myself, it was my instructor, it was my aviation supporters, it was everyone in my little community at this little airport, all who were involved in my aviation journey. They all turned up the day of my check ride because everyone was wondering, how is this going to be reacted to? Are they going to feel encouraged? Are they going to feel discouraged? And my immediate question, because the curiosity just was killing me, I just turned to the FAA check ride examiner and I asked the question. I asked, well, what do you think about this situation? And right from the start, from the get-go, his reaction just instilled this confidence, because his reaction was, well, heck, if you can fly an airplane with your nose and show me how you can safely fly this plane with your nose, then I don't see why you shouldn't become a pilot. If you can show me how you safely maneuver the airplane with your feet and do everything I ask of you, required of you, then I see no reason why you shouldn't be a certified pilot. So that encouragement really helped us start on the right foot, and no pun intended, but really helped us feel the encouragement from the FAA. And that day, let me tell you, that was a very long test. The flying had to be during the most windy conditions I've ever flown in, which I normally wouldn't choose to go up and fly in. But it was really a true test of my skill as a student pilot at the time, and it turned out phenomenal. He felt confident in my skills. He asked me to do everything. In fact, one of the things that I feel most excited about telling you, because I feel so proud about it, is when he asked me to do what's called landing on the 1,000-foot marker. And this really shows the skill of if you can land right where he tells you to land and you have control of this airplane. So I land on the 1,000-foot marker, and he turns to me and he says, well, you can't get any better than that. So I'm very encouraged again that he feels confident in my skills, that I can maneuver this plane safely. And I'm not just doing the basics or the bare minimum. I'm doing what a competent pilot needs to demonstrate.
Yeah. Now, you're going to be a part of the EAA Women Venture program, because not only are you the first armless pilot, but being a woman makes you part of a very small group of pilots. Less than 10% of pilots are women. Why did you want to be a part of this event?
I am actually very excited about this event. Not only because I'll be sharing about what I've been up to, but because I'm going to be among so many rock star women pilots. I was looking up some of these bios and I was just floored, because I'm like, whoa, how did I not know about these women before? Other people need to know about them because they inspire us to become better, and they inspire us to rise above the adversity and the labels and the stigma. And these women are just pioneers and conquering all these different aspects of aviation. And I just feel humbled. I feel honored to be on a panel with these women to learn more about their lives as well, and how they overcame their adversity. And I'm excited to share what I've been up to building an impossible airplane and what that entails with this past, well, I would say probably the past 5 years, and what has been the barriers that we've faced, how we overcame them, how the aviation community came together to make it happen. And now we're doing things again to inspire the world with my particular stance of disability does not mean inability.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned this impossible airplane. Can you talk a little bit about that?
This impossible airplane, which I'll be sharing at this wonderful panel, is essentially the first aviation project that we really dived into. It's going to be the very first airplane in aviation history that can be flown with feet alone in the left pilot in command seat. So this is a custom airplane built out of a kit. And I mean a kit with thousands of pieces, thousands of rivets and pieces and parts and all these things, kind of like if you see, a model kit for something else, just imagine that like 10 times larger. It's coming in a big crate. And this started 4.5 years ago, building this thing and not knowing how we are going to do something that has never been done before, how we're going to engineer the controls to make it modified so that I can safely fly it. For reference, I have been flying almost 2 decades with a standard Ercoupe airplane, a 1946 plane. that is a vintage plane and it has its limitations being vintage. There's always something wrong with it mechanically when I fly it. There's something that goes wrong. It has its limitations on airspeed. I can only fly one passenger in it because it's only two-seaters. It's only a two-seater plane, and it's limiting our vision and our mission to get to places around the country, around the world, to show the world that disability doesn't mean inability. But with this impossible airplane, the plane that I'll be talking about for the first time on this panel, it is going to be not only a four-seater, but literally, if you can imagine, twice as fast and a lot more modern with some of these amazing developments in the engineering world that have never been done before.
Now, one of the exciting things about this event is you'll also have some kids with you who are part of a program specifically for kids who have lost limbs. Is that right?
Yeah, so my nonprofit, Right Footed Foundation International, is committed to helping empower that next generation, children born without limbs. And we've partnered with Limitless Wisconsin, which is a group of children and adults who've experienced limb loss. This could be for various reasons, trauma, disease, whatever the reason may be, or congenital, they were born this way, and they need those role models to show them that the sky is the limit. Together, they are going to be bringing out many of their members. We are expecting 20 children and 29 adults to accompany those children to AirVenture to hear me speak about the impossible airplane, to talk about my journey in aviation, and also just experience AirVenture for the day, to plant those seeds of possibility that they could, if they so choose, become engineers, mechanics, pilots, whatever they want to do in aviation. And I'm excited for them. I didn't have this as a kid for myself, but now we're going to do this for so many. And I think it's going to change their life, and I think it's going to change and encourage them that nothing is impossible.
For sure. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for speaking with me, and it'll be exciting to have you here in Wisconsin at EAA.
I'm excited too. I love the ice cream, I love the cheese, and I love the people. So it's always a highlight of my year to come back to that beautiful Wisconsin family of people that just are so kind and so welcoming and so friendly and helpful.
Jessica Cox is the world's first licensed armless pilot. She's in Oshkosh this week for the Experimental Aircraft Association's annual AirVenture Festival.
That was the Lake Effect Spotlight podcast. It comes from your local NPR station, WUWM. Subscribe to the Lake Effect Spotlight podcast to hear more great stories about Milwaukee.